lovers, and welcome to the Liberty Mike podcast, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I'm here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah? Oh, gosh, me too.
Tired of being tired.
We'll get into this more in a little bit, but jury duty was exhausting because I had to do that during the day, and then I had to come home and do my work.
Yeah. Been there and done that.
And it felt, and I had to get up extra early to get out there in time.
So
that sucked.
So are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Finished today.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the Supergirl trailer?
Yeah. So that won't be a movie I'm going to bother with.
What? It's DC. I thought you liked DC.
I do like DC. I've never been a Superman fan to begin with. I'm Batman.
Well, I know, but it's still
DC. I get it, but
I thought that the comic book people were like either Marvel or DC, and like I know you have your favorites or whatever, but
yeah. I mean, me personally, big Batman fan, big Spider-Man fan. Like those were the two comic books that I was really into.
Okay.
And
Isn't Spider-Man Marvel?
it's Marvel, yeah.
All right.
So I'm split.
Okay.
I've always had a problem with Superman. Like you can't have like every power and just be invincible.
Yeah, I've always found that one to be kind of boring.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't know.
Overpowered superheroes are boring.
X-Men are good too. I like the X-Men.
Yeah. Well, I made you watch the trailer because the poster came out the other day, and it said in the corner, "Truth, Justice, Whatever," instead of "Truth, Justice in the American Way," and it got my patriotic hackles up a little bit.
Yeah.
And now I didn't see the most recent Superman movie that came out either,
Me
so
either.
I don't know. Like maybe they were already going down that path or something. I'm not sure. I mean, I think, especially after we watched the trailer, it looks like they're just trying to do this kind of like nihilistic early 20s girl that just doesn't care about anything or whatever, something like that.
That's definitely the vibe I got.
Yeah,
from the trailer.
You know, so there was a TV series years ago that I watched for a little while. The girl that played Supergirl was like I can't think of her name. Like Benoist, I think maybe is her last name. She was the girlfriend in Whiplash, which is a way better movie. So
okay.
If you haven't seen Whiplash, then you should go see it because it's awesome. And the girlfriend in Whiplash is the same girl that played Supergirl in this TV series.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed at the beginning, and then it got preachy.
Yeah.
And man, when I say it got preachy, it got like really preachy.
Yeah.
Pretty fast it seemed like, and so I gave up on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I'm going to be seeing this movie anyway. But I'm not into the superhero movies anyway. I did go back and rewatch the first, whatever phase, I guess, of the Marvel cinematic universe not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, a bunch of those movies are good.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of have started sliding over the past few years, but
I'm trying to think of the ones that I really liked. The first Captain America film, I think it was, like I really liked.
Yeah.
And Iron Man was entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh well, doesn't matter now. I mean, they're not so important to me that I can even remember them distinctly.
You can't even cite them.
Yeah. So, whatever. But whatever.
Yeah. There you go.
So maybe that's what it's about. That's they're expressing the general public's feeling about superhero movies now.
That may be fair.
Truth, justice, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Anyway. So I want to start off talking about this double strike scandal on the drug boats.
The double tap.
Yeah. Because we didn't talk about it last week because I don't think it stands out in any way.
It's funny because we did talking about it, and then we didn't when we recorded the podcast.
Yeah, it's kind of a non. All right, so this is why I think this is why we didn't talk about it, or at least this is what was in my head,
Yeah.
is that we've been constantly talking about how terrible these strikes are, period.
Yeah.
And so the problem isn't the double tap. The problem is the first strike.
Is that we're doing it at all.
Yeah. So the first strike is already wrong. Like the second strike is just
well, it's
more.
It's more wrong because at that point I feel like they're trying to destroy evidence.
Oh, I don't know if
maybe
they're trying to destroy evidence. They're just
that's where my mind goes, is the idea that, you know, we don't want any chance that people find out that maybe this was a fishing boat.
Oh,
you know?
I mean, that could be too. You know, I think that they're just bloodthirsty.
Yeah. Which I saw something, I didn't read the article, but I saw some headline that some families some fishermen families are suing because their family members were struck. Now, I don't know if there's anything to that. I mean, I've been on the assumption that these were actually drug boats.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe, but there's definitely been some people arguing that they're not, or at least some of them are not. You know?
Yeah, the videos they're putting out, they're not going to put out anything that doesn't look like a drug boat.
Exactly.
That's one of the things. Now, something that I do want to point out about this, beyond the fact that the second strike is really no worse than the first strike, and so that's why I thought it was kind of a non-issue.
Yeah.
Is that just remember, it was not that long ago that the Republicans were complaining about when we pulled out of Afghanistan, right after we pulled out of Afghanistan, and the Biden administration dropped the bomb on that family, killed like 10 people, and like 7 of them were kids or something like that. Yeah. You remember that?
I do, yeah.
And at that time, the Republicans were complaining about that, and the Democrats didn't care. Now, we cared.
Yeah.
Like we were critical of that as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, I understand that this is slightly different. I mean, at least from some people's perspective, that those were not criminals and these are.
Yeah.
But in both cases, they were not combatants.
Yeah.
And I guess the point I want to make here is that you gotta be careful who you listen to, and listen to the right group, and not stick with one party, because in a 2-party political system like ours, then these people who are commenting, if it's politically motivated, their commentary, their criticism or whatever, then they're all hypocrites, but the hypocrites are right half the time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah. So in this case, you know, they're all hypocrites, but you got to recognize who who actually is taking the moral side, even though they're only taking it for partisan reasons.
Yeah.
And I hope that Americans out there are not so partisan that they can't recognize.
Some are, but plenty are not. Like there's plenty on both sides that whatever their side says, they're going lockstep.
Yeah. It amazes me that people are like, that people genuinely believe that there's no way that the Trump administration would lie about this.
Right.
Okay. Wake up.
Yeah.
Right. Pay a little bit of attention. All governments lie.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
All governments lie.
Yeah.
So that was a IP Stone journalist from way back. That was a catchphrase practically of his.
Oh, yeah.
All governments lie.
All governments lie. Well, they do.
So then Trump was pressed about it, and about whether they were going to release the full video. And I actually think that this is the thing that the administration really needs to do.
Yeah.
Because there's such an uproar about it in the public. Like, if you think you're in the right, then just release the video and let the public decide if you're in the right or not.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
Well, initially Trump said, "Yeah, I don't see any problem with releasing the video."
Yeah. And then somebody got in his ear.
Well, yeah, and he deferred to Hegseth entirely, and Hegseth said at some foreign policy conference or whatever, he was asked directly about it in an interview, and he was like, "Well, I don't really see a problem with us releasing the video. Of course, we have to be careful about it. Like, we're reviewing it now to make sure that we don't, blah blah blah, sources and methods." And I was like, "What?" Sources and methods? Like, so I don't know how you get to that from there. Like, maybe, I guess it's possible that between the first strike, which they did release, the video of the first strike, between that and the second strike, maybe they pan over or zoom out and you can see a guy jumping up and down on his boat and pointing at the at the drug boat, or maybe they cut to a meeting where people are talking about where they got the information to do this in the first place. Like, this is the most stupid excuse that I've ever heard. Like, how would you unveil sources and methods showing the whole video that you didn't unveil in the first strike video?
Yeah, exactly.
Of literally a missile hitting a boat.
Yeah. I'm confident that the reason that they're not wanting that they're cagey about releasing it is that they're afraid there's something there they don't want us to see.
Well, I imagine that no matter what, whether they would say it's justified or not, or whether even a bunch of people would say it's justified, I bet it looks bad.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something there that they're afraid is going to be misconstrued or, just like you said, just look bad.
Yeah.
So
like two guys standing on top of a smoldering boat and they just come back through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just thought that we should probably address that. Like, from our perspective here, the second strike really is no worse than the first strike.
Yeah.
Like, you're already committing a crime.
Well, I've been personally just astounded at the amount of people that are okay with if they're drug dealers being bombed that way. Like, that one just blows my mind. I still can't get past that.
Yeah.
Because that's what so many people make the argument. Well, they're like I say, they're not fishermen, they're drug dealers and this, that, and the other. It's like, well, for one, you ain't really proved that one way or the other.
Yeah.
And for two, even if they are drug dealers, I'll grant you that they still don't deserve to be drone bombed.
Yeah. If you're a drug dealer in this country, you don't face the death penalty.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and it doesn't make like this idea that the United States has that we're going to enforce our laws everywhere in the world is ridiculous. Can you imagine what an uproar it would create if other countries decided that they were going to enforce their laws in international waters or in other countries?
Yeah.
Or on other countries one way or the other?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine?
Sounds like a good way to start a war.
With America.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of blown away. Like, not everybody looks at these things in the same way. And this is a really ridiculous one because they aren't forcing these drugs down anybody's throats or in anybody's veins or whatever.
Very willful market.
Yes.
Very voluntary market in this country. It is a
voluntary market. People want these things.
Yep.
And it's, if there's a demand, if there's money to be made, somebody's going to fill it no matter what. It doesn't matter how many drug dealers. They could kill every drug dealer coming out of Venezuela, and it would not even come close to stopping drugs coming into this country.
Because so much of that's not coming from Venezuela anyway.
Well, so if they killed every drug dealer that crossed the border in the next week, it would not put a dent in the drug supply in this country because somebody else would just pick it up. In fact, it would drive up demand and prices.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing that we talk about, like after a hurricane, the price gouging thing. Yeah. Like if you eliminate a huge part of a supply of something that people want and need, then it drives up prices and encourages more people into the market.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no eliminating this.
No, of course not.
And so it's a complete and total waste of taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
And as long as we're talking about a complete and total waste of taxpayer dollars, we may as well talk about my jury duty experience.
Your experience this week?
Yeah. No, it was not a complete and total waste of taxpayer dollars. That's hyperbole in this case. But so I was, in fact, placed on a grand jury.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I honestly, beforehand, I did not expect to be selected for a jury. But in Alabama, a grand jury is completely random. Yeah. Like, there is no voir dire. They don't talk to the jurors at all beforehand. They don't eliminate anybody except randomly. Wow. So you start with one pool, and then they run the names through a computer and eliminate some of them. I have this cat that I cannot get rid of right now. She's driving me nuts. I don't know what her neediness is. It's like above normal, and she's pretty needy to start with.
It's because you've been at jury duty all week.
Yeah, maybe. Then they eliminate a portion of the pool, and then they have what's left, which is 18 people plus 2 alternates.
Yeah.
And on our first day, they eliminated the 2 alternates essentially because somebody had stuff that they couldn't get out of for a couple of days during the session.
Yeah.
So they said, well, we don't actually need you, so go ahead and go home. And then somebody, through their own unreliability, being very late the first day, got eliminated.
Oh, nice. So you didn't hold them in contempt or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't try that, because if it had dropped our number down to 17, I think they might have held that person in contempt.
Yeah, because that was definitely, when I went to jury duty, was threatened a couple of times to some, not to me, but to some folks. Yeah.
And we got lucky in some other ways too. They say usually the grand jury session is 2 weeks, and you'll hear 800 to 1,000 cases. But the December one, with the holidays coming up, it's only a week, and we only heard about 200 cases.
Oh, wow. I guess people don't commit as many crimes during the holidays, right?
I suppose that's it. Yes,
it's got to be what it is.
There's more people off duty, and so they don't arrest as many people. I don't know.
It may be.
I have no idea. Now, I mean, some of these cases were years old.
Yeah, I'm sure.
From the arrest time. Like, I don't think there was a single one that had been committed in the last 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's that much of a backlog then.
Yeah. And of course, there's like a lower burden of proof for a grand jury. You're just deciding whether to proceed with an indictment, and there is no defense at all. It is only the prosecution talking to you. Almost all of the witnesses are police officers.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Now, I liked it. I think it was better than if I had been put on a regular trial jury, honestly, which I wouldn't expect to do because law enforcement, family, and so forth.
Yeah, actually, because those you will be questioned and do the whole thing.
Yeah. And my libertarianness might be enough to get me kicked off.
Yeah.
And actually, in this case, the DA here, my dad was his training agent at the FBI.
Oh, wow.
So that was interesting too.
Yeah.
And that might have been enough just in and of itself to get you tossed off.
Yeah.
Even though, like, we don't really know each other, but
yeah. And when it comes to,
like, we have met, I was just a lot younger.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to like a jury trial or something, that should be enough.
Yeah. You don't know if that's going to create a bias in me or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I think I got lucky. I think grand jury is probably the only jury I'll ever end up on.
Yeah.
And I liked it because it's kind of rapid fire. You're not doing the same thing all the time. I do think that 2 weeks of it would have gotten boring because probably half the cases were meth.
Yeah.
Possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamines.
That doesn't surprise me.
Over and over and over and over again. And all those stories are pretty much the same. And
yeah.
I think that would have gotten pretty dull.
Yeah.
Now, I might be wrong, but I like to think that I had an outsized influence on this jury.
Yeah.
First off, because I was engaged.
Yeah.
So I, like I said, there was no defense in any of these. It's all prosecution. Yeah. And so pretty quickly I decided that my role should be something like defense.
All right.
So I
Try
asked,
to poke holes in this thing as much as I can.
yeah. So I think I asked more questions than the rest of the room put together, but I certainly asked more questions than any other individual.
Yeah.
And to pat my own back in a way, I twice during this week, the ADA that was the assistant district attorney, we'll say the district attorney representative that was in the room with us when we were seeing witnesses and so forth, because they leave us alone for deliberations and voting and all that.
Yeah.
And the voting, by the way, it requires 12 yeses to continue with an indictment. So it's got to be 12-6.
Okay.
Or 12, I mean, if there's people missing or whatever, because we did have one day where there were only 17 people.
Yeah.
But it's got to be 12 yes votes for them to proceed with an indictment.
Yeah. And there's 18 of y'all, right?
And there's 18.
Yeah.
So, anyway, twice after the witness was done and had left the room, she said to me, "That was a good question." And she didn't say that to anybody else.
Yeah.
So I felt good about that.
Nice.
And my parents always told me I had the mind of an attorney and I should go to law school, but then they'd have to disown me.
Right. Can't have no attorney in my house.
Damn lawyers.
All right.
So anyway, it was certainly an experience, and I will say that, like, of the cases that we saw, we dismissed like half the charges.
That's good.
Almost half the charges.
Yeah.
Really close. Like, I think we saw 192 cases and dismissed 95 or 192 charges and dismissed 95 of them.
Nice.
So, and I don't know that would have gone that way if I hadn't been in the room.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that came up is that I should talk about the district attorney's office representative in this, because I was actually surprised at how she instructed us on some things. Yeah. There were a bunch of cases where she said that she recommended that we dismiss them.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I would have a hard time with this in court. It's not worth going to court about. Like, there's not enough evidence, or there's questions that are strong enough to create a reasonable doubt, I think, anyway. I would have a hard time when in this case. I recommend that you dismiss this charge because it's not worth pursuing. Yeah. I mean, and they do have a backlog there, definitely, in the court.
Oh, yeah.
She also was talking about, like, especially on these drug charges, you have, some of them are felonies, some of them are misdemeanors. You have multiple charges on the same person. Like, they get pulled over, they've got fentanyl and weed and pipes in the car and, all this stuff. And they just start adding these charges.
Yeah.
And she even asked some of the officers that came in if they cared about the misdemeanor charges. And most of the cops were like, no.
Yeah.
So she also told us that they weren't really concerned with the misdemeanors. So, and it may not have mattered in this case if I was there or not, because she was saying that.
Yeah.
But I pushed to dismiss misdemeanor drug charges from the very beginning. And once we got into the habit of that, then even in, like, really egregious cases, I was like, hey, look, we've dismissed all of these paraphernalia charges so far. Yeah. I don't see any reason that we should start indicting them now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And it would get dismissed. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I don't think that we indicted a single misdemeanor drug charge.
Nice.
No weed, no paraphernalia. I mean,
All right.
And I know you told me, you can say how you would have approached this. Like, I know you told me that you would have voted no on indictment of all of the drug charges, period.
I say that. I really don't know, because the truth is, when it comes to the meth charges, I am kind of torn. Because, like, I've seen what meth can do to people and the families and the whole 9 yards. Now, that don't mean I think it needs to be illegal, but I mean, I think that there's ways we can handle that better as a society.
Yeah.
But I'm not certain that I would just let everybody charged with meth off.
Yeah. Well, okay, and I'll say that for the district attorney's office too, is that they do have alternatives to trial.
Yeah.
With some of these defendants,
Really?
especially if it's first time, if there's any hint that there's some kind of psychiatric disorder, or just like general addiction, if they're not problems outside of like, you definitely got the impression from these cops that like they were pulling people over sometimes that they just knew.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
they knew that, like, okay, I need to get a couple more arrests before the end of the month. I can always pull this guy over. He's always going to have drugs in his car, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm certain that happens.
But so they do have a lot of alternatives that they can, I guess, shunt people into instead of going through trials. And if they complete these programs, they get the charge dismissed dropped. And yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
So I appreciated that too.
Yeah.
As for, so I actually made this argument to somebody, to the girl that was sitting next to me in the grand jury, when we were talking about drugs, because I was saying I have a real problem with indicting people for crimes where there's no victim.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, how can you have a crime without a victim?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I understand that, but like drugs destroy, same thing you said, drugs destroy people's lives, destroy families. They have a lot of, additional consequences. And I said to her, there are a lot of things that people do that destroy lives consistently and destroy families consistently and have additional consequences that we don't prosecute people for.
Yeah.
And the best example that I can think of is adultery.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, I think I could honestly make a really strong argument that adultery destroys more families and more people's lives and has more knock-on effects
than drugs
on the whole.
Yeah.
Not on a per capita, like a per person basis of people that are involved.
Yeah.
But on the whole of society, I think you could make a strong case that adultery is actually far more damaging to our society than drug addiction.
Yeah. I mean,
and we will never be prosecuting people for adultery.
Well, no, because, it's a free country.
Yeah. You can make your own choices about your life, including whether you use drugs or not.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I don't know about that. Like,
got to maintain some level of consistency here, right? Exactly. Like you either prosecute, and I was so close in that room more than once to quoting Lysander Spooner and saying, no man wishes to be protected either in his person or his property against himself.
Yeah.
Like you make your own choices. You know what the potential consequences are. Like, it's your life, your choice.
Absolutely.
And where it leads to damaging other people's lives, then I can see you being prosecuted.
Well, yeah,
but
absolutely.
Just the fact that you made the choice shouldn't result in a prosecution.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. Now I hear you argue, and now I'm like, well, maybe I would let all the meth people go. I truly don't know. I'd have to be in there and find out.
Well, this is the decision that I made about that. And I understand sticking to your principles here. And if I was on a trial jury, I would push really hard to get those charges dismissed.
Yeah.
Or, to acquit.
Yeah.
No matter how egregious the offense was, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there was, if there was property damage involved, I would want to and convict on the property damages, but the drugs themselves, possession,
aside.
I would not. I would want to acquit on possession charges.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm different from you again on that because you're content to just create a hung jury.
Yeah. 100%.
With that and let it go. Let some other jury decide then.
Yeah. If they decide to go forward with a second trial.
Yeah. Now my position on that is that I would do everything that I could to convince other jurors of that my position is the right one and that we should acquit because the law shouldn't be there at all.
Yeah.
And this is this person's own choice about what to do with their own body. And, you know, it's just not our place to judge them morally, because that's really all this is.
Yeah.
I think, now I don't know. I think that if I was in that position, if I was on a jury of 12 people, and in the end of that, and I made all my arguments and it's still 11-1,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't hold up the jury on that. And I would just,
Relent.
I would relent. Because if I can't convince one other person on that jury,
Yeah.
then, you know, you're supposed to be a representative of society.
Yeah.
On a jury.
Yeah.
And so if I can't convince one other person, then obviously we're just not there as a society.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can make a really strong argument. And if I can't convince one more person,
the truth is,
then I probably let it go.
I feel like you probably can convince one more person.
I feel like I could too. But that's why I'm saying, like, if I can't,
you'd be willing to go along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt on the grand jury in a lot of ways too. So while my principle is that none of these things should be indicted, none of these possession charges should be indicted, I did vote yes on a lot of them.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I thought if 17 other people in that room think that we should indict, I don't want all of these things to be 17-1 with me being the one person saying no, because it doesn't stop the indictment in the first place. And then I feel like they're less likely to listen to me on kind of edge cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so, and I think that might have made a difference, because there were some where there was just kind of sloppy police work.
Yeah.
That I managed to convince enough people not to indict that they got dropped.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would have been able to do that
if you had just been a no on.
If I'd have said no on all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did push that room to punish cops for lazy or whatever police work, and some kind of just some questionable stops and things like that. Yeah. And there was a guy who came in, one of these officers that presented, and they had several cases. And I don't think we indicted any of them, because he came in and he hadn't reread the reports. He didn't bring the reports with him. He was totally unprepared. Wow. He couldn't answer very many questions about it. He's like, I don't remember this. I don't remember that. Only able to answer just like the real highlights of it. And I was like, hey man, if you don't care, why should I?
Yeah. Right. Come on now. Yeah.
There's others that I would like to talk about, actually, but I'm afraid that it would be hard to talk about without giving enough detail to make the case recognizable, and so I don't want to do that. But there were some questionable stops that there was just like, this is awfully convenient or coincidental in some way or another.
Yeah.
That I don't feel like this was a random stop like you're claiming. Right. It is, and was able to convince the room that it was fishy and to let it go.
Yeah.
Too. So,
well, and I can tell you just from being a citizen here in Baldwin County, there's a lot of fishing that goes on with all of the police departments. A couple of them are worse than others, but I know I've been stopped in one city like multiple times, and that's all they were doing was fishing.
Yeah.
You know.
There was a sex case that I was disappointed that I felt like we couldn't indict.
Yeah.
There were a few of these cases, but there was one in particular that it was like, I am pretty sure that this happened, but I don't think that it would ever be convicted.
Yeah.
And
evidence just isn't there.
Yeah. The evidence just isn't there. I think that it would be an embarrassment for the victim to have ended up on a stand being cross-examined.
Yeah.
Which just makes it worse. So like here we're prolonging the trauma and they're not going to get justice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's just mean.
Right.
and I think that's really unfortunate, because I think that the person who committed the crime should be buried under the jail.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, our job in there is to determine if we believe that there's enough evidence there that it could be convictable.
Yeah.
And some of those crimes are just really hard.
Yeah.
I did learn also that all, and I didn't know this, that all vehicular deaths, all vehicle accident deaths,
Yeah.
go through the grand jury.
Really?
Yep. Every single one.
Huh.
And our job is just to decide if it seems like it was just an accident.
Yeah. That's interesting. I did not know that.
Also, all unwitnessed deaths go through the grand jury.
Really?
So if somebody dies at home and then somebody else comes in later and finds them,
Yeah.
those cases are reviewed in a grand jury to determine if the grand jury or somebody on the grand jury thinks that it needs further investigation.
Really?
Yep.
Hmm.
So that was new to me.
Yeah.
Now, I volunteered to review a lot of these because I used to be an EMT, and when I worked for Honda Financial in the motorcycle and power equipment division years ago, one of my responsibilities was death of customer cases.
Yeah.
When you're doing that in the motorcycle and power equipment division, probably a little over half of the death of customer cases died on the motorcycle that they had financed.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of pictures and read a lot of police reports about motorcycle accidents.
Yeah.
And one thing it convinced me is that I will never ride on a motorcycle.
It didn't convince you to buy one?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've seen some pretty horrific stuff. I wasn't worried about going through these reports.
Yeah.
Like, I'll read autopsy reports and all that stuff. Sure. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
It won't bother me. It would have to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, all in all, it was a really fascinating experience. It's kind of unreal that I'm almost 50 and that's the first time I've ever been called to jury duty.
Yeah. I've been to jury duty once, but I didn't get on the grand jury. And like I say, it was just a medical malpractice. Took the whole 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Could have been done in 2 days.
Yeah, I imagine that's how medical malpractice are, like, so involved.
Yeah.
Those are cases that are so involved.
Yeah. Well, this one didn't need to be.
We had some interesting stuff. A lot of it, like I said, was like pretty boilerplate kind of meth possession stuff, but we got some interesting cases too. And I think if it wasn't such an inconvenient time for me, I would have been fine with doing that for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they call me to a grand jury again, because like I said last week, these kinds of responsibilities are the only opportunity you have as a regular citizen to have an impact on jurisprudence. And like dropping all of those misdemeanor drug charges, that can have an impact in the long run. Like if all grand juries dismissed all these misdemeanor drug charges, they would stop charging them.
Yeah.
And if they stop charging them, they're eventually just coming off the books.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know about coming off the books, but
yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that's been there since the 19th century that nobody enforces. But
that's the idea, though, is to get it to a point where law enforcement is like, I'm not even going to bother with this because it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my paperwork.
Exactly. I got to spend an hour doing paperwork for something that won't proceed past the grand jury.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the goal.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. There were a couple of cases that were of a more serious nature that we dismissed because I guess in the end, like the way to say it is that sometimes the letter of the law, if applied, is unjust.
Yeah.
Like absolutely unjust.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it would, I guess this isn't this isn't an actual case, but to try and draw a parallel so that you understand what I mean. Like if somebody's facing a real severe theft of property or something, crime, when the loss was like $5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or if the loss may have been slightly greater, and I mean slightly, like less than $100,
Yeah.
but it was unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Like, why imprison somebody for years, give them a felony that ruins their future, even when they're out of prison, for something where, like, they attempted to commit a crime that wouldn't even been a really major crime in terms of the actual loss to the person.
Yeah.
And they didn't even succeed in doing it.
Yeah.
Like, that just seems, it seems unjust to apply the law as written in those kind of cases.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
don't know, but at the same time, you do the crime, you do the time.
Yeah, and this is actually like one of those things that I, there was what otherwise would have been a misdemeanor drug charge, but involved serious weight.
Yeah.
Which made it not a misdemeanor anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I think that that's BS. This person is just meeting a market need,
Yeah,
or a market desire. At the same time, like, first off, I wouldn't convince the room of that.
Yeah,
and secondly, there's personal responsibility on the other side too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're trafficking drugs through Alabama, there's a possibility that you get stopped, you get found.
Yeah.
And these are the consequences. And you know that going in.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyway, all in all, it was actually kind of cool. It was, and I guess it couldn't have worked out better as far as bad timing, but to be the time that it's only a week instead of 2.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely do it again.
Yeah. Well, cool.
I feel like I performed a public service, and not just in the sense that, I did my jury duty.
You did your time. Yeah.
Yeah. But in that I feel like, I think that we did good for some people.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And, the other thing about, like, dropping all those misdemeanors is that it gives them less, and this actually might not be good for the defendants.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on how it's approached. Like, a lot of that charge stacking is so that they have things to trade in a negotiation instead of going to trial.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just hate that.
Right. Yeah. We're not negotiating over the law.
Yeah. It's like, okay, if you have all these misdemeanors stacked on also, you can threaten the person with, like, if you're convicted of all these things with concurrent sentencing or whatever, or sequential sentencing, you could, be in jail for 40 years, or you could just plead out on this felony. I get to mark that I convicted a felony on my stuff as the attorney.
Yep.
And you'll only do a few years, and instead of challenging it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think that, and gosh,
people can get railroaded that way.
Yeah, and I read a few years ago that something like 90% of drug crimes are pled out.
Yeah. No, and I
like, better than 90% of drug crimes are pled out. Like, they don't even go to court on these things.
Yeah.
And I think that is not, I don't think that that's what was intended out of our judicial system.
Yeah.
And all the charge stacking does is give
leverage.
Give leverage to the prosecution.
Yep, exactly.
And so I think taking away the possibility of indicting on some of these charges, may have helped the defendant in that sense. But it might have made it worse for him too, in the sense that now you can't trade off these lesser charges.
Yeah.
You don't have lesser charges to trade off.
Yeah.
But I think on the whole, it's better for the defendant and for the judicial system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I have a lot of trouble with the judicial system here. Like, I would have loved to have gotten in a room and just given a speech to that grand jury about how, like, every aspect of the law is paid by the same people.
Yeah.
That there's an inherent bias because they call it the criminal justice system. There's an assumption in that statement that the people are guilty, which is antithetical to what the justice system is supposed to believe.
Yeah.
Like, they don't call it the justice system. They call it the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a presupposition that you're guilty.
Yeah. That everybody that enters it is guilty.
Is a criminal of some sort. Anyway, so I would have loved to have, like, given a speech to the grand jury before we did our first vote and see if that would have had an impact on how people voted in the long term. I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead, maybe I write an article and put it up somewhere. Maybe I write an article and send it to the newspaper or something, to an op-ed.
Yeah.
Try and be non-specific about, I don't know. I guess I would probably have to send it to the DA before I submitted it, just to make sure that I didn't
You're going to ask permission.
Didn't overstep. Well, I mean, I don't want to be held in contempt.
No, well, there's that.
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah. You might get held in contempt for having this podcast.
Well, I think that I've been pretty non-specific.
But you're not going to run it through the DM or the DA before we publish it.
Well, no, that's true. But I think that if I was writing an op-ed article, that I would try and push farther in details.
Yeah. Okay.
Like this has been really lacking in detail. There's no way that I'm overstepping. Like I asked the DA today, or no, I guess it was yesterday, or no, we actually had yesterday off. Wednesday, I guess it was. I asked so what are my limitations on what I can talk about publicly?
Yeah.
And so I talked about it with him, and I'm really confident that I'm good. Yeah, I'm really confident that I'm good here.
Yeah.
On cases where I feel like I would have revealed too much, I brought in fake information. So the case couldn't be identifiable, and obviously I didn't use anybody's name, so
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm good.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out in the long term.
Right.
I did not announce to everybody that I have a podcast. I actually had intended to do that today on our last day, like before we left, to just say to everybody, like, by the way, I have this podcast called The Liberty Mic, and I will definitely be talking about this experience tonight, so you guys should all listen.
Yeah.
I probably should have.
Oh, well.
We might have picked up some new listeners, or at least, get some people. There were some people that were definitely unhappy with me on that grand jury too.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think you were rocking the boat too much.
Yeah, I guess, or just too lenient, or I must have been a crazy liberal. Or, I mean, the composition of this grand jury is not, doesn't seem to be entirely random.
Yeah. Maybe there's a reason your age and this is your first one.
Well, that could be too. Although there were some young people on the grand jury, but so I'm almost 50. There were out of the 18, there were 4 people that were definitely younger than me.
Yeah.
And 8 to 10 that were definitely older than me, and then a few people that it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was it definitely trended older.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are definitely some old ladies on that grand jury that you can feel pretty confident they're like some of those people out there saying, well, Trump would never lie to us. We definitely need to be blowing up them drug dealers, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I love it.
I saw some people's faces, the faces that people made at me when I was making some arguments in there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, well. This cat is really, really, really wants to be in my lap.
Yeah.
And we're closing up on 50 minutes. Like, we had one other thing that we could hit, but yeah, I agree. It's been a long week because,
Yes.
of course, I had to do the jury duty and then I had to work also. And when you got here today, I was still working, so I am tired.
I'm with you.
So we can. I mean, it's nothing that's urgent anyway. Yeah. We can do it some other time. If you guys have had jury duty experiences, man, I'd love to hear about them. Whether it was a grand jury or a trial jury, or even civil court stuff. Like, I would love to hear about it. Everybody complains about jury duty, and it was a pain.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, you just don't have time for these things.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an inconvenience.
Yeah.
But I think it's
important.
I wish we got, all right, like, so maybe that's the article. Like, I'll send it to Libertarian Institute or something. The Libertarian's Guide to Grand Jury or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we should try to do. Like, don't try to avoid this.
Yeah.
Because here's your opportunity to have an impact.
Yeah.
And this was what I did and what I recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be interesting, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So tell me if you'd be interested in that too.
Yeah.
Before I waste my time writing an article that nobody will read. I've already had enough time wasted this week.
Right.
So we'll wrap up there. We're getting into holiday season. We'll let you know as the schedule changes. I mean, I think that we will probably still just do the Fridays after the holidays, because the holidays are Thursdays this year.
Yeah.
So we'll probably just do the Fridays after the holidays.
That's somebody's birthday too.
Yeah. Right. We can skip that one.
Yeah, we probably have to figure something else out that week.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You could get up early.
Yeah.
And come over here and,
like
she could sleep in and we could do a podcast.
Like at 3 a.m.
Oh, you have to work day after Christmas?
Well,
yeah,
of course.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. All right.
How could I not?
I mean, if you want to come over at 3 a.m, I'll get up and do it because I got nothing else to do that day.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure you don't. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll let you know as we move forward when we figure the schedule out.
Yep.
And but we'll be back next week.
Sure.
And probably. I guess I should add that because that was said with a in a weird way. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean. Like and share, comment. You can always email me, michael@thelibertymike.com. Let us know your jury duty experiences on one of the platforms, or you can email me. If it's really interesting, I'll share it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So make it really interesting. Or try. Yeah. And we'll be back next week when we finally get this right. And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life's short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.